Saludos. La sección de Puerto Rico y el Caribe fue fundada en junio de 1964 bajo el nombre de Puerto Rico e Islas Vírgenes. Este suceso fue liderado por el ingeniero Julio Negroni y el ingeniero Ray Lerner de los Estados Unidos, pero no fue hasta el año 1982 que el IEEE aceptó que se incorporaron los residentes de Puerto Rico y el Caribe, excepto Jamaica, a la accesión y de paso cambiando el nombre a lo que hoy representamos con orgullo. La sección del Instituto de Ingenieros Eléctricos y Electrónicos de Puerto Rico y el Caribe.
Gracias, Chris. Pero recuerda que desde el 2012 hemos desarrollado el IEEE aquí en la República Dominicana, la cual en aquel entonces el Dr. Van der Horst con un grupo de ingenieros implementaron y sometieron a subsección la República Dominicana. Y desde entonces hemos ido desarrollando actividades, desarrollo científico y tecnológico aquí en la República Dominicana. Y una muestra de esto es que este año, del 17 al 19 de noviembre, estaremos llevando a cabo el LatinCom, la actividad más importante de toda Latinoamérica respecto a las telecomunicaciones. Y este año, pues la sección Puerto Rico y Caribe está encargada y será llevada a cabo nada más y nada menos que aquí en la República Dominicana. Aunque el IEEE tiene como enfoque principal desarrollar tecnologías para beneficio de la humanidad, no se limita. También apoya el desarrollo profesional de sus miembros. Interesante, ¿verdad? Para que les expliquen mejor cómo esto es posible, pues lo dejamos con los líderes de este desarrollo.
IEEE SAC se encarga de ayudar y guiar a las ramas estudiantiles dentro de la sección Puerto Rico y Caribe. Actualmente contamos con la rama estudiantil de la Universidad Politécnica, al igual que el capítulo estudiantil de MBS, Biomedical Engineering, la rama estudiantil de la Universidad Ana G. Méndez, recinto de Gurabo, y la Universidad Interamericana de Puerto Rico, recinto de Bayamón. La manera en la que se atienden a los estudiantes de dichas universidades es en el área de proyectos humanitarios, gestión de ramas estudiantiles, actividades técnicas como actividades locales. Actualmente, todas estas se trabajan de manera virtual. Algunos ejemplos de las actividades son la RNR, Reunión Nacional de Ramas, la cual se celebra una vez al año. Dicha reunión se trabajan actividades de crecimiento profesional, personal y sobre todo el networking con las demás universidades.
IEEE Young Professional es un grupo de miembros y voluntarios que abarcan desde universitarios recién graduados hasta profesionales experimentados en los últimos 15 años de carrera. Somos una comunidad global cuyos miembros están interesados en oportunidades de desarrollar, elevar y ampliar su carrera profesional. Las atenciones que dirigimos al grupo son por medio de eventos de desarrollo profesional como conferencias, charlas técnicas o de educación continua, certificaciones y voluntariado, al igual que contamos con un sinnúmero de beneficios como miembros de IEEE. En la sección de Puerto Rico y el Caribe tratamos de tener en cuenta los intereses de desarrollo a nuestros miembros. A los recién graduados los ayudamos a prepararse ante el mundo laboral. Para nuestros profesionales enfocamos las actividades como charlas técnicas, conferencias y educación continua. Te invitamos a que seas un Young Professional. Contáctanos para más información.
El Grupo de Mujeres en Ingeniería, o WIE por sus siglas en inglés, es una red global de miembros y voluntarios de IEEE, dedicados a promover a ingenieras y científicas, a inspirar a niñas de todo el mundo a seguir sus intereses académicos en una carrera en ciencias, tecnología o ingeniería. Esto se logra a través de eventos en los cuales se tiene como meta conectar con las necesidades de niñas e ingenieras, inspirarlas a través de charlas motivacionales y proveer recursos que sirvan como apoyo en el proceso de cumplir sus metas. Si te interesa, hoy es un gran día para comenzar en el IEEE. Únete.
Desde 1973 contamos con diferentes tipos de capítulos técnicos. Estos grupos apelan a que se dé a conocer los avances tecnológicos en diferentes áreas en ingeniería. Pero para más detalles, les dejaré a los propios líderes de estos grupos.
Hola, bienvenidos a todos. Represento a PES, la Sociedad de Energías y Potencias. Ya sabes que tenemos muchas ventajas y beneficios para ustedes, entre ellos una anualidad gratuita para estudiantes en su primer año, descuentos, seminarios, lectores distinguidos y también estándares de la industria. Ven, hazte socio.
El IEEE Computer Society es la matriz de información, inspiración y colaboración en esta rama de la ingeniería, conectando a los miembros alrededor del mundo. El IEEE Computer Society empodera a las personas que desarrollan tecnologías, brindándole herramientas profesionales. Nuestros recursos incluyen conferencias internacionales, publicaciones revisadas y la más completa librería digital, con estándares reconocidos mundialmente y espacios para la educación continua. Si quieres aprender más de Computer Society, comunícate. Por otra parte, si aún no eres miembro del IEEE, es un buen momento para unirte.
Hola, mi nombre es Manuel Mendoza y hoy les voy a estar hablando de la Sociedad de Comunicaciones del IEEE. Es una de las sociedades más populares del IEEE. Posee 34 publicaciones de enorme calidad, donde 17 de 20 citaciones que se realizan en el área de las telecomunicaciones son dirigidas a estas revistas. También ofrece más de 43 conferencias a lo largo del año, incluyendo la principal conferencia de comunicaciones de nuestra región, el Latin American Conference on Communications. Otro beneficio de interés es el de los charlistas distinguidos, donde personas destacadas en el área de las comunicaciones visitan las diferentes regiones realizando charlas de interés. En estos momentos, estas charlas se realizan de manera virtual. Al hacerte miembro de esta sociedad, también recibirás descuentos en los múltiples cursos que ésta organiza.
Buenas. El IEEE Site Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology es la organización de voluntarios profesionales y estudiantiles más grande del mundo. Y el beneficio de la humanidad. ¿Quiénes se benefician? Las comunidades sin servicio de electricidad, comunicaciones o agua, instituciones educativas sin herramientas de aprendizaje, el sector agrícola, entre otros. ¿Tienes algún proyecto? Déjanos saber.
En el Comité de Actividades Técnicas, trabajamos en conjunto con las sociedades para traer mayores beneficios a nivel local para nuestra membresía, como los webinars técnicos. También estamos trabajando en la difusión de tecnologías emergentes por medio de las comunidades de IEEE de Future Directions, las cuales incluyen Internet of Things, Blockchain, Cloud Computing, Smart Cities, Big Data, entre muchas otras. Si te interesa, contáctanos.
La IEEE y la Cruz Americana tienen un acuerdo para proveer ayuda en momentos de desastre, especialmente en el área tecnológica. En Puerto Rico hemos comenzado a unirnos a esta iniciativa llamada MOVE Y hay 9 miembros de nuestra sección que estamos participando de estos esfuerzos. Estamos tomando los cursos para poder completar los requisitos y ser voluntarios de tecnología de la Cruz Roja Americana, mientras también somos voluntarios de la IEEE. Esperamos verlo. Muchas gracias.
Saludos. EMB, por sus siglas en inglés Ingeniería en Medicina y Biología, es la sociedad más grande mundial para ingenieros biomédicos. Nuestros miembros diseñan circuitos eléctricos para marcapasos, crean códigos que ayudan a leer MRIs y ayudan a desarrollar tecnologías que permiten a pacientes a comunicarse en distancias largas. Si eres ingeniero y te interesa esta rama, o eres biólogo, te invitamos a formar parte de nuestra sociedad y destapa todos los beneficios que incluye nuestra membresía. Gracias.
La Sociedad de Electrónica Industrial, I.E.E.E por sus siglas en inglés, comprende una diversidad de actividades enfocadas a la aplicación de ciencias de electrónica y eléctrica en la mejora de procesos de manufactura e industriales. Por medio de sus publicaciones y eventos a nivel global, la sociedad provee a los miembros herramientas, beneficios y material para fortalecer su impacto en estas áreas de interés. Tener un capítulo local va a permitir tener mayores actividades locales, incluyendo conferencistas distinguidos para el beneficio de los miembros del capítulo de la sección.
Como dato curioso, I.E.E.E Puerto Rico y Caribe contiene un I.E.E.E Milestone en Ingeniería Eléctrica y de Computadoras. I.E.E.E Milestone reconoce logros técnicos significativos en todas las áreas asociadas a I.E.E.E. Reconocen la innovación tecnológica y la excelencia en beneficio de la humanidad. En noviembre de 2001, el Observatorio de Arecibo, Puerto Rico, llamado Centro Nacional de Astronomía e Ionosfera, por sus siglas en inglés NIC, recibe la dedicatoria del I.E.E.E Milestone. El Observatorio de Arecibo es un radiotelescopio que se inauguró en el 1963. Su diseño e implementación llevaron a avances en el diseño de antena, en áreas como procesamiento de señales e instrumentación electrónica en el campo de la ingeniería eléctrica. Te hemos presentado la historia de I.E.E.E, sección Puerto Rico y Caribe, nuestros estudiantes, profesionales jóvenes, mujeres en ingeniería y diferentes tipos de capítulos técnicos tales como PES, Computer, ComSoc, SIF, actividades técnicas y nuestro más reciente proyecto, MOVE. Ser miembro y envolverte activamente como miembro de I.E.E.E Puerto Rico y Caribe va a permitir que te desarrolles como individuo, persona y profesional. En mi experiencia personal, mi vida ha cambiado por completo gracias a I.E.E.E Puerto Rico y Caribe. El estar envuelta en I.E.E.E no solo nos ha regalado una familia nueva, también nos ha desarrollado profesionalmente y nos ha permitido utilizar nuestras habilidades en beneficio de la humanidad. Ahora te pregunto yo, ¿te atreves a ser miembro de I.E.E.E? Es tan sencillo como seguir estos siguientes pasos.
Saludos a todos y bienvenido a nuestra celebración del Día de IEEE de Puerto Rico y Caribe. En el día de hoy seré su anfitriona y a la misma vez soy también la embajadora de Puerto Rico y Caribe para el Día de IEEE. Estaremos haciendo nuestro evento en ambos lenguajes, el español y el inglés, ya que queremos ser un poco más inclusivo con nuestra zona también del Caribe. Así que nuestra primera presentación es en español, nuestra segunda presentación es en inglés y nuestra tercera presentación será nuevamente en español. Hi everyone and welcome to IEEE Day from Puerto Rico and Caribbean section. Today I'm going to be your host and I'm the ambassador of Puerto Rico and Caribbean section IEEE Day. Today we are going to be having three presentations in Spanish and English. Our first presentation will be in Spanish, our second presentation will be in English, and our third presentation will be in Spanish as well. This will be to have an inclusion of our Caribbean that is part of our section. So, voy a switchar un poquito en español porque nuestro primer evento, nuestra primera presentadora va a ser en español. Y básicamente nosotros tenemos un movimiento que se llama MOVE y es internacional y estaríamos, ¿verdad? Teniendo a nuestra encargada de nuestro movimiento MOVE que estaría presentándonos. Saludos, Loderay.
Buenos días, saludos.
Saludos. Loderay es nuestra voluntaria y ella está encargada de MOVE y estaría presentándonos hoy lo que es MOVE Internacional, Respuesta a Desastres y IEEE Puerto Rico y Caribe. Cuéntanos un poquito, Loderay.
Buenos días, formalmente gracias a Abigail por la oportunidad y la invitación. Siempre es un placer y soy nueva en MOVE, así que estaré hablando sobre las experiencias que hemos tenido como grupo en la IEEE y MOVE, que Abigail también es parte, así que va a ser una presentación breve y los vamos a motivar a las personas que estén interesadas que también entren a la página y se hagan voluntarios de MOVE dentro de la IEEE.
Muy bien. Añadí la presentación.
Perfecto. ¿La ven todo bien?
Sí, podemos verla.
Perfecto, gracias Abigail. Pues formalmente yo soy Loderay Bracero, soy parte de la IEEE y soy parte de la Asociación de Geociencia y Percepción Remota y tuve el placer de comenzar con los compañeros desde el 2019 cuando fui a una de las conferencias de mi organización dentro de la IEEE, de la sociedad. Así que yo estoy con la compañera Jennifer Castillo. Comenzamos en marzo a poder formalizar lo que es IEEE MOVE y les vamos a hablar un poco sobre todo lo que hemos logrado y qué es MOVE, ¿verdad? Ustedes han escuchado mucho MOVE, pues qué es lo que significa MOVE para Estados Unidos y IEEE y para Puerto Rico y cómo nosotros lo vamos a modificar para poder dar ayuda en desastres, como dice nuestra presentación, que es una de las cosas que es nuestra meta principal. Pues, ¿por qué nosotros estamos aquí, verdad? Pues MOVE es Mobile Outreach Vehicle. Es un vehículo que tienen los compañeros en Estados Unidos de la IEEE, donde ese vehículo da diferentes asistencias primordiales en un caso de desastre, luz, comunicación, carga, etcétera. Y nosotros, ellos querían poder expandir ese proyecto en diferentes áreas y capítulos de la IEEE y nosotros somos uno de ellos. Entonces, pero ¿qué sucede? Nosotros empezamos a comenzar el proyecto, pero no vamos a tener un remolque, pero no significa que no vamos a tener también esa ayuda humanitaria que vamos a estar dando de forma más compacta, que les cuento ahora de qué se trata. Pues voy a poner déjenme dar ahora otro share. Si pueden ver el video, esto es un video que lo pueden acceder también desde nuestra página y es explicando lo que es el IEEE MOVE, el Mobile Outreach Vehicle. Vamos a ver.
Throughout the southeast U.S., a donor-supported program. MOVE has also received a presidential citation from IEEE USA, and this plaque is recognizing the initial team for vision, dedication, and hard work creating a humanitarian and STEM outreach program which furthers IEEE's mission of advancing technology for humanity. And every year we also receive from the state of North Carolina National Engineers Week proclamation from the governor. And as you know, we do this because we all believe in advancing technology for humanity.
Hi, I'm Grayson Randall, Operations Lead for IEEE. This is one of the panels in our truck. This is all the air conditioning. We have the light switches for all the lights for the inside and the floodlights for the outside of the truck. This is our generator controls. Allows us to start and stop our generator inside the truck. This is the transfer switch. Allows us to select power from either our generator or power if that's required. Right beside it, we have all our mobile FRS radios that we use for communicating on site. Allows us to talk back and forth and keep track of everybody. We have a scanner, a truck scanner that allows us to listen to communications in the area, keep track of what's going on. And then we store the keyboard and mouse here wirelessly connect to the PC stored in the communications rack.
So here's a view of the work area in the truck. As you can see, we can monitor the weather on the television screens that are here and other information. We have some tables and work space to be able to perform our tasks. And besides disasters, we also do STEM education, and we have some pictures reminding us of our mission in that regard as well.
Vamos a darle pausa por el momento, porque es un video más largo, pero quería que ustedes vieran el interior de lo que es el remolque, ¿verdad? El vehículo. Vamos a ir aquí. Y entonces esa es nuestra compañera Mariela, que ha sido la persona que ha estado en todo momento junto a Jennifer llevando el proyecto de lo que es MOVE. Y nosotros acá como equipo hemos estado en contacto con la Cruz Roja Americana. Así que esos elementos que ustedes vieron en el remolque, diferentes cosas, nosotros lo queremos traer a Puerto Rico, como mencioné. Ellos han estado en diferentes desastres a nivel de todo Estados Unidos. De hecho, ahora han estado ayudando en el huracán Ida también. Así que han estado corriendo y probando esa iniciativa y ha sido todo un éxito, proveyendo pues wifi, carga, comunicación satelital para contactar a los seres queridos, etcétera. Así que pueden entrar a la página y van a ver toda la lista de los diferentes desastres que ellos han podido ayudar a la Cruz Roja. En resumen, si podemos resumir lo que es MOVE, ¿verdad? Lo que queremos es proveer comunicación, proveer esa energía, proveer esa ayuda a las víctimas que han estado en un desastre. Nosotros pues hemos tenido esas experiencias obviamente por nuestra área geográfica y sabemos que aunque sea una linterna, aunque sea poder cargar el celular y comunicarnos con nuestros seres queridos, da una ayuda y un alivio a cada uno de nosotros. Así que parte de la meta principal es poder dar esa ayuda con los medios que nosotros podemos proveerle a las personas. ¿Okay? Así que en nuestro caso nosotros estamos trabajando con la Cruz Roja Americana. ¿Okay? ¿Qué nosotros queremos hacer? Como mencioné, queremos dar esa tranquilidad a las personas que estamos ayudando, queremos proveer comunicación, energía, información, luz, carga para esas personas también. Como se mencionó en el video, es promocionar lo que es la ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería y matemáticas, los STEM, a nivel de las escuelas, y en ellos han tenido visitas a diferentes escuelas que vamos a ver algunas fotos de ellas. ¿okay? Y poder compartir esos resultados a nivel global, internacional de nuestra asociación para que otras personas también se motiven a hacer este tipo de iniciativas. Y sin duda, como sabemos, nuestra asociación, entonces, exacto, nuestra asociación lo que hace es poder entrenar a personas. En la Cruz Roja Americana nos hemos dado cuenta que hemos estado continuamente en preparación con diferentes talleres, diferentes entrenamientos para poder ser nosotros estar preparados como voluntarios y poder ayudar a las personas en desastre, ¿okay? Así que nuestro instituto, para corregirme, nuestro instituto lo que quiere es proveer eso. Ok, pues en nuestro caso, como le dije, nosotros estamos trabajando con la Cruz Roja Americana. La Cruz Roja Americana, pues tenemos nosotros como MOVE en Estados Unidos, se dan unos ciertos servicios y la Cruz Roja Americana da otros, por ejemplo, los shelters, comida, etcétera. Pero MOVE pues da esa otra parte que ustedes vieron en el remolque. Esto es un ejemplo de las diferentes actividades que se hacen para expandir lo que es la información de lo que hace MOVE y poder motivar a diferentes niños y niñas a que tomen las disciplinas de STEM. En este año se están celebrando 5 años de MOVE, así que es un gran logro y como ellos ya lo han dicho, ellos lo que buscan es expandir a nivel internacional, poder tener más colaboraciones y poder expandir el proyecto de MOVE como I.E.E.E. En Puerto Rico nosotros comenzamos desde marzo de 2020, justo cuando comenzó la pandemia, diríamos, comenzamos como Puerto Rico y el Caribe. Somos 9 miembros activos en la Cruz Roja Americana con I.E.E.E. MOVE y nosotros lo que estamos es comenzando la iniciativa de lo que es el MOVE modular. ¿Por qué modular? Les vamos a explicar ahora. Pues lo que provee el modular es el beneficio de tu poder replicar lo que tenemos en el truck, pero de una forma más compacta y mucho más llevadera, donde se pueda transportar de una manera más fácil, ¿ok? Así que aunque no sea lo que es el truck, que pues, obviamente tiene la capacidad de moverse en cualquier lugar, nosotros lo que vamos a crear son diferentes kits de emergencia que puedan proveer esa ayuda que necesitan las personas y complementar lo que ya provee la Cruz Roja Americana en Puerto Rico. Así que en resumen, generación de energía, vamos a tener baterías para poder que las personas carguen sus celulares, etcétera, y también comunicaciones. La comunicación sabemos que es bien primordial y aquí le tenemos una foto de un resumen de lo que sería. Nosotros hemos hablado mucho sobre eso y nuestros compañeros en Estados Unidos también propusieron este tipo de equipos que son inverter eléctricos que no necesitan de gasolina y de esta manera nosotros podemos cargarlos a nivel solar y pues tenemos esa libertad. Y parte de lo que queremos es pues crear ese kit de emergencia que le llamamos el modular para poder ayudar a esas personas con estos elementos de energía, carga y comunicación de una manera mucho más compacta y poder ir a los lugares donde esté la Cruz Roja Americana y poner una estación de nosotros para ayudar a las personas en necesidad. También nosotros, además de crear esa iniciativa como I.E.E.E. MOVE, hemos también estado muy activos en lo que es las labores de la Cruz Roja Americana aquí en Puerto Rico. Nosotros oficialmente somos Disaster Technology Service Members, somos voluntarios en tecnología y también hemos estado en Information Planning y también recientemente junto a Abigail y a otros compañeros hemos estado en lo que es ayudar a las personas a nivel técnico por nuestra expertise en tecnología, pues hemos estado ayudando a las personas cuando tienen dificultades técnicas en las diferentes plataformas de la Cruz Roja Americana. Hemos estado cogiendo entrenamientos de satélite y también hemos hecho llamadas para ayudar a las personas a que estén preparados en momentos de desastres. Así que además de lo que es I.E.E.E. MOVE, hemos logrado hacer esa conexión y esa colaboración con la Cruz Roja Americana de manera tal que hemos podido insertarnos en las tareas que están ahora mismo actualmente en Puerto Rico en condición estable, como le llaman ellos, cuando no hay ninguna emergencia que atender. Pueden entrar también a la página de IEEE Move. Hemos estado cubiertos en diferentes cartas en junio, en noviembre, así que hemos estado participando de todo eso y ha sido muy chévere y muy provechoso recibir el apoyo también a nivel de IEEE Move con Marielen y todo el equipo, porque nos ha motivado muchísimo a seguir con las tareas que hemos logrado como equipo. Nosotros 9 acá en Puerto Rico y esperemos que sean muchos más. Pueden visitar la página principal o pueden poner en la búsqueda de sus buscadores, ¿verdad? IEEE Move y vamos a salir nosotros. También tenemos la capacidad de donar gracias a los trabajos del compañero Luis Tati que se creó de la IEEE, así que pueden también donar si les interesa y también pueden hacerse miembro de IEEE Move y llenar el formulario que está disponible en la página de nosotros. Así que nuestro instituto está bien contento de poder ayudar y poder tener esta rama o esta división de la IEEE Move Internacional en Puerto Rico y agradecemos a los 9 miembros que hemos estado en apoyo y en comunicación constante para que esto se siga materializando y junto a Jennifer con la IEEE Move a nivel formal hemos podido lograr que ya todos esos equipos se vayan comprando, etcétera, para tener ese primer kit modular en Puerto Rico y proveer ayuda. Muchas gracias a todos y gracias por la oportunidad nuevamente.
Muchas gracias, Loderay. Para mí siempre es un placer ver tus presentaciones.
Gracias.
Información muy importante para todos, ¿verdad? Move es nuestro bebé y nosotros pues trabajamos en diferentes iniciativas dentro de IEEE y con la Cruz Americana, como mencionó Loderay. Así que atesoramos muchísimo este movimiento, como se llama, ¿verdad? Move. Y de verdad que es algo que sentimos que podemos dar un poquito más allá vamos a ponerlo así, con lo que IEEE quiere llevar, que es la tecnología para el mundo entero, ¿verdad? No tengo preguntas por aquí. No veo ninguna pregunta por el momento. Sí tengo un comentario de nuestro presidente y dice que está orgulloso de su equipo. Así que el grupo, él dice que, ¿verdad? Move se rige por donaciones, así que por favor, ¿verdad? Puedan donar a Move, IEEE Foundation también, eso es algo bien importante. Así que por el momento me encanta mucho. Sí, muchísimas gracias, Loderay, por tu tiempo y esperamos contar contigo y estás haciendo un excelente trabajo con este movimiento.
Gracias y gracias a ustedes por el apoyo siempre. Mucho éxito en todo.
Muchísimas gracias. Buen día.
Buen día, gracias.
Pues nuestra próxima presentación es en inglés. Por el momento les voy a poner los códigos promocionales para que ustedes puedan accesarlos y unirse a IEEE hoy. Saludos a todos. Nuevamente me presento para aquellos que se conectaron ahora. Mi nombre es Abigail Terón y soy la embajadora y la anfitriona del IEEE Day de Puerto Rico y Caribe. Nosotros tendríamos presentaciones en español y en inglés, así que voy nuevamente a presentarme. Hi everyone and welcome to our IEEE Day. I am Abigail Terón and I'm going to be your host, and I'm the ambassador for Puerto Rico and Caribbean IEEE Day. So today we are going to have a special guest with us today, and
Okay.
it will be Dr. A.K. Dr. A.K. is a founding chair of New Biomedical Engineering Department and the John Doon Professor of Biomedical Engineering at the University of Houston. He's also the president of the IEEE Engineering and Medicine and Biology Society. He has played a key role in promoting biomedical engineering research and education by writing and editing several books, editing several special issues of prestigious journals, including the PROC of IEEE, and giving several keynote and plenary talks at international conferences, symposiums, and workshops regarding emerging technologies in biomedical engineering. He is founding editor-in-chief of Biomedical Engineering book series published by Wiley and IEEE Press and Wiley Encyclopedia of Biomedical Engineering. He is also the editor of Neural Engineering Handbook published by Wiley IEEE Press and the first steering committee chair of the IEEE Trends of Computational Biology and Bioinformatics. He is also the co-editor of the Encyclopedia Brain, published by Wiley and IEEE Press. He established the IEEE EMBS Special Topic Conference on Neural Engineering. And it's for me a pleasure to have Dr. A.K. in our celebration discussing engineering high-throughput cancer chip for precision medicine. Hi, Dr. A.K.
Good morning. Can you hear me, Abigail?
I can hear you well.
Wonderful. Okay, let me put the PowerPoint first, and then share it. Okay. Screen. Can you see my screen as well?
Not yet. I can see it now.
Wonderful. Okay, so it's a great honor and pleasure being with you. Good morning to everybody. Thank you so much, Abigail, for the introduction. And I'm the president of IEEE Engineering, Medicine, and Biology. On behalf of IEEE EdCom, XCOM, special greetings to our the Puerto Rico chapter. So today I'm going to talk about initially about the society and also the new activities. Then I will talk about our research at University of Houston. First of all, IEEE Engineering, Medicine, and Biology is the oldest and the largest biomedical engineering society. And we changed our name in 1963 to Engineering, Medicine, and Biology. And currently we have the somewhere 12,000 members, and among them 2,000 are student members. We have participants from almost 100 countries and also 100 chapters and the student clubs globally. I assume that most of the audience are students. I would like to bring your attention the IEEE Engineering, Medicine, and Biology summer school. These summer schools are designed for students to expose them to emerging technologies such as the imaging and the signal processing, the BioX, neural engineering, and information technology, and computer models in medicine. These summer schools are being held globally, not only United States, in Europe, and also Asia Pacific area. I strongly encourage the students to participate, be part of it. Our society sponsors 13 journals. 3 of them are the open access. I think especially the recent open access journal on engineering, medicine, and biology. I think it's going to be. I believe that it will get the impact factor very soon, and edited by Professor Paolo Bonato. And also we have sponsored publications. IEEE Pulse is very important. Is the information source repository for our society, and we have, of course, our flagship journal, Transaction Biomedical Engineering, as well as reviews in biomedical engineering, and we expect to get the impact factor next year, and the journal Biomedical Health Informatics impact factor is almost close to 6. Exceptional job done by Dimitris Fotiadis. And we have also other co-sponsored journals. As I indicated, we are a global society. We have annual conferences being held the different part of the world, from Shanghai, New York, all the way Milan. And the 2019 we were in Berlin, 2020 we were in Montreal, and this year we are going to be in Guadalajara. I strongly encourage you consider submitting papers, participating. I think Roberto, who is our ADCOM representative, is one of the most dynamic member of the ADCOM. He has been part of the conference. I think it's a great experience for our students. Society has several technical committees. It's our aim is the long term. Really, the backbone of the society will be technical committees. They nominate the people for awards in their respective field. They also organize special topic conferences and also engage with the student activities, chapters, and we have room for everybody. Not only for senior people, but also the students and also associate members, junior faculty, junior scientists, and we accommodate and they be part of. We want to hear your voice. I think that's very important for us. These are some information, social media information for IEEE MBS, from Facebook all the way LinkedIn. I think it's very dynamic, and you will see that lots of announcements every day, more or less. Our society has the Outstanding Student Chapter and Club Awards winners, and these are the 2020. Asia Pacific area, we honor the Maratua, the university, and then Latin America, it was the Peruana Cayetana had the student chapter. Middle East, EMBS INSAT student chapter. North America, Carleton University MBA chapters. I was elected as the president, and I would like to share some of the new vision and what we are doing. Of course, these are all collective efforts, and our mission is indeed to foster and promote global biomedical education, research, and also innovations. We are, and we will like to continue being the leading global society of the biomedical engineering. Our ultimate goal is to improve the lives of all humanity, as well as we would like to increase general public awareness on the impact of healthcare innovations and also the economy and society. To do so, we have built extremely vibrant global ecosystems of engineering, scientists, clinicians, industry people, healthcare professionals. In this system, we openly exchange ideas and disseminate our research and share our data protocol. One of the new initiatives, we started the public forums. I have been running Global Healthcare Forum since 2010 in the South Turkey, It was sponsored by National Science Foundation and also the other institution as well as the EMBS. But we decided to a little bit expand and to turn into the public forums. These are free for public, and we invite the distinguished speakers. It's a 4 days event, and we discuss how engineering innovations can be translated into the practice to produce effective and the solution and to the grand challenge. Simply, how we can turn global challenges into the opportunities. These are unique forms, especially I believe for students, is a great opportunity to focus on healthcare innovations and as well as the need we have right now for a paradigm shift in healthcare and economic growth. The first one we had it was on the COVID-19. I believe that it was one of the most comprehensive forums ever. And we had 4 days. We focused on the healthcare challenges, screening, tracing, and also treatment. We hosted 30 distinguished speakers, and the ideas discussed even at the end for treatment part is the new vaccine. Delighted to have the leadership of the J&J be part of it. Second initiative, and I noticed that is globally, one of the big job market is right now data science. This is not last 2 or 3 years event. It has been caught our attention for last 5 years, I could easily say. And I also believe that is the most of the jobs opening will be in biomedical era. Is going to be data science in healthcare, data science in biology, data science in biomedicine. So we devoted the public forum to data science in health, data science and engineering in healthcare, and is the one day we focus on medical imaging and the digital healthcare, precision medicine, and as well as the brain and neural systems. We hosted 36 leaders, global leaders in this, and also the number of the participants, excluding the speakers and distinguished guests, was about 1,700. Just last week, we had one of the amazing public forum, I will call, and we hosted 28 distinguished industry leaders from medical device industry and also digital health, biopharm, biotech, and also the neurotech industry. This was an amazing gathering, and we had more than the 1,100 participants, mainly students, and I believe that many of them, they never attended any EMBS activities. So the idea was, what are the challenges for industry, how the career goal, and how do they handle these challenges, and their vision for futures, their product for futures, and also we heard from them what they notice, what they care about when they interview, when also hire the new employees, and also their vision for the workforce for the future. The speakers, they were not only United States, we had a few distinguished speakers from Europe, and they were all industry leaders. So these are the organizing committee, and including organizing committee and also the 28 speakers, I was the only person from academia. They were all coming from industry. And the first day we focus on medical device innovations. We had the distinguished colleagues from GE, Netflix, Dexcom, Medtronic, Bloomers, and Material Impact. We also had the honor to host Dr. Fertig from the NIH. She leads the Small Business Program, LEADS program, and they also share the goal for her program, and also shared the suggestions for the students and the innovators. Second day was the digital health. We also had the 7 distinguished CEOs and the leaders and CEOs, COO, CTO, and the research directors. And the third days we focus on biopharm, biotech, and we had, in addition to 6 the distinguished CEOs, CEOs from Cycon, Cyclassi, Asthmatics, Biocognitive, Pfizer, Avails. We had also one of the leading experts, the venture capitalists, and from the Woodside Capital Partners. Finally, the last day we had the neurotech industry, Chet Bouton, and also as well as the Anna, Marcus, Amy, and the Martha, Chris, Yagna. They are from the new companies, small, but also the large corporate like Abbott, and also the advanced brain monitoring, neuropace, neuroelectrics, and it was a fantastic form we had it. Okay. Second initiative I had as a president, we have a wonderful distinguished lecture program. I encourage all our chapters to invite them to speak in their events. But on top of them, I thought that is what was the needed actually for our society, to have industry experts. 2 words I will keep talking today. One is healthcare innovation. Second one is the industry entrepreneurship, because more than 80% of our students, they get job in industry. Some they work for the government, some becomes the professors, but it's very, very important to bring the industrial experience to the table. Bring industry leaders speaking to our students. So therefore, I decided to initiate the Presidential Distinguished Lecture Program. So those, the speakers, distinguished lecturers, are all from industry. And we want to hear their perspective, and they discuss about the different part of the business, and they discuss about how the young generation, new generations, to become entrepreneurs and or to work for a company. Among them, the Erica Russ, she's an executive director of the R&D applied research at Abbott Lab, and she's also the EdCom member. And we had also in the program, they all admitted it's a functional program. Rick Scott she's the CEO of the Trona, is an imaging company in Europe. Anita Rockers, she's the head of the life science and the strategy at the HP. And Natalie Mineski, she was also the co-chair of the public forum. She's the founder and the chief CTO and board of directors of Prof USA. And Jadwiga Renita, and she's the head of the computational biology and also the senior director from the Pfizer's. And Ali Tnazli, he used to be the chief commercial officers of Flux Energy. It's a very unique company. They are developing the kits to check the COVID-19, but they are using both technologies. They are looking PCR and the plasma at the same time. But right now he's moved to Europe. He's leading. He's the new CEO of the new company in Germany. And Mike Hess is the vice president for strategic affairs and corporate technology innovations, and with the Medtronics, he's also another member. So these gives the opportunity for our conferences, our technical activities. I thought it's definitely needed for us. Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit the healthcare innovation part. This is the slide I borrowed from World Health Organization. It is old, but also it tells us about until 2030s, which kind of disease and challenges we are going to face. Of course, if you look at the list, you will not see the COVID-19, but it's sort of embedded, because if you top 4 chronic disease, we will continue facing chronic disease. And still is the major killer is cardiovascular, and also the other chronic, the obstructive pulmonary disease. Second one is there is a significant increase in cancer incidence. Cancer is a global disease right now. The third is neurological disease. We live longer right now. Life expectancy significantly increase in both developed and developing countries. But I think with the age, you will see more and more people are suffering from neurological disease, including dementia, Alzheimer's, and others. So I think these is also the alarming at the same time is a fantastic opportunity for our young generation students think about how healthcare innovation and can be developed and can challenge, can address these issues and improve the quality of the life, especially elderly people, and also how these healthcare innovations can reduce the cost of the healthcare. Because I believe that the quality of the healthcare significantly improved with the engineering innovations. But I think that when it comes to the price of the healthcare, it's still extremely expensive. So the focus should be on not only increasing the quality, but also we need to think about and how we can reduce the cost. Biomedical engineering is still is average, the fastest growing field compared to the other engineering disciplines. And it's both the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the NSF indicate there could be much more the opportunities for the biomedical engineering, especially I believe, in data science area. In the United States, we spent, these are numbers before the pandemic, almost more than $1 trillion for the bioengineering market, as especially those are the intelligent drug design and delivery gets almost $1 trillion. $500 billion we spend for medical devices, and the number one, of course, the orthopedic, and second is cardiovascular, and I believe that third is the neurotechnology. But things will change, and I believe that also within 10 years, the neurotechnology will go ahead and will be one of the prime medical device market. This is another the example I took it, and from GDP is an old number. If you look at the U.S. has of course the largest GDP global, and then China, Japan, and others, and India and Italy around the $2 billion, $2 trillion. This MIT report indicated that is their own graduates, their contribution to global economy is almost $1.9 trillion. Graduates, they build companies, they build institutes, they hired almost 5 million people globally. And they have active companies and more than 30,000. So that's what I am trying to tell is the innovations are very critical, and your innovations could help society and also improves the economy. I think there is an incredible effect on many parts. So that's why healthcare innovations matter. I am also founding chair of the biomedical engineering department at University of Houston in Texas. This is a building where we are located, second floor. Also, we have the other faculty at the new building at the College of Medicine building. But I just want to bring your attention to something very unique. In this building, if you look at this, every floor, there is a word biology. Biology is extremely important, but also engineering moves the biology into the next level with the technologies, with the devices, with platforms, with computational tools, with everything. So I think it's the biomedical engineering is extremely important. For the students, my strong recommendation that is field is changing so fast and so quick. Okay. I think one area that I would like to bring the attention is nano micro technologies. Someone could be interested in medical device innovations, and the other one is data science. Of course, the critical issue for engineers, you need to work on communication and also the strong analytical skills integrity, because at the end of the day, what matters, creativity, what matters, the critical thinking, and that makes the field of biomedical engineering unique, because biomedical engineering integrates both applied science and also physical sciences. We built the biomedical engineering department, and we starting 3 teams, or the core thrust areas. The first one was neural cognitive rehabilitation engineering. Second one is bionanoscience. Third one, biomedical engineering, biomedical imaging and informatics. This will be changed as a data science and engineering in healthcare. Houston is a very unique area. This is the photo, and the next couple presentation I borrowed from my dear colleague, CEO of the Bio Houston, Anna Tanebe. And the back is the city of Houston. Front part is as you can see, Texas Medical Center. Texas Medical Center is the largest and the healthcare unit in the world. It hosts close to 35 hospitals, several medical schools, including Baylor College of Medicine, UT Health, Texas A&M NMed, and also new and very unique College of Medicine from University of Houston. With the vision from Chancellor Kator and the founding Dean Span, is the new College of Medicine of the University of Houston focuses on more preventive medicine and more community-based medicine. I think it's really requires the extensive participation of engineers and scientists. And of course, if you look at the list, the best hospitals in the world, including MD Anderson and also Memorial Hermann and the Methodist, Texas Children's Hospital, the Texas Heart Institute, I think it's the amazing opportunity to collaborate, to integrate the research with the medicine as well as education too. And we have also another medical school, UTMB in Galveston. It's just like 30, 40 miles away from the Houston. I mentioned that the Texas Medical Center is one of the best, indeed is the best, the healthcare, the service and the healthcare, the unit for treatment. At the same time, last 10 years, there's a drastic changes. When someone looks at the US, is always think about the Northeast Corridor and the West Coast. These 2 areas are the hubs for the biotech and also life science companies. But right now we have a lot of activities going on in also Houston, I know also in Austin. And if you look at them, it's currently these old numbers. I believe that we have more than 300 life science, medical device, and digital health companies in the region. It's a very diverse mix of these companies, and these companies every stage. We have the new startups, we have already established companies. Among them, JLabs, they have the Innovation Center and the Innovation Institute in the Texas Medical Center. And I believe that is the initial space was 100,000 square foot. I think it's doubled, maybe tripled. And in addition to TMX, and we have also University of Houston, we have our UH Innovation Center, and the space is also getting bigger. Initial was the 30,000 square foot space, and this is open not only UH faculty and also student, also the others participant collaborators. Let me talk about the high throughput system. This is the research activities. It's a joint effort. Many people, they contributed to this effort. The Dr. Nguyen, Dr. Fan. Actually, the last part, if I have time, I will talk about the contribution Dr. Hui Xia and the Dr. Zhu Gorenstein, the Professor Kai, my collaborator. And this is a joint effort from MD Anderson, UT Health, University of Houston. Cancer is one of the deadly disease, and we are talking about each year we get almost like 1 million new cases. And also this more than 500,000 American they die due to the cancers. Treatment option is when it's diagnosed, the one is to surgery to remove the cancer cells, and the second after is the chemotherapy continues, and also the radiation to continue to zoom in this area and kill any remaining cancer cells. The chemotherapy is a great challenge because when we look at historically, and it's it takes more time because periodically the chemo drugs should be injected to the patient, and also the second question about the effectiveness. We know that some of the cells, some of the cancer cells, are resistive to chemotherapy. That's why you never see any published report that shows the 100% effectiveness of chemotherapy. Several people, several colleagues, they have proposed the low-cost, high-throughput testing platform for drug screening, and we also working in the same area. Then I will share our vision, what can be done. For chemotherapy, cancer drugs, is the angiogenic process is it possible to really cut the connection from blood vessel to the growing tumors. This can be done the targeting, either cutting the blood vessels or directly targeting the tumors. The issue that to get even any approval from the FDA, it takes long time. I think it was a miracle to get the very fast approval from FDA for the COVID-19 vaccines, but that was a unique case. But overall, takes somewhere from 1 to 5 years to get it done. Our goal is to get the samples from biopsy samples from the patient, especially we focus on glioblastoma, brain tumor. This biopsy in our lab has been processed, and the cells are cultured, and we form in our unique platform I'm going to talk about, we build spheroids. Then we test the several different drugs, and we determine which combination or which drugs works for that patient. So this is almost our platform is for precision medicine. And then at the same time, and we plan to inject the piece of that tumor in vivo to animal, and then what we learn from the platform, same percent of the drugs will be given to the animal. That way we see effectiveness not only 3D in the platform in vitro, but also in vivo. Ultimate goal, of course, if things works very well, to go to the clinical trials. Okay. So I think the first and the most important have to have 3D in vitro platform. We just want to perfectly mimic the natural environment of the cell, and we want to use the same doses of chemotherapy drugs like cancers as it found in the body. That's the 3D in vitro part. Then move into the next level, and the goal is to indeed one day to have the personalized treatment for cancer patients. Our specific aim is to develop the PEGDA, the hydrogel microwells, to generate 3D brain cancer spheroids, and then investigate their treatment with anti-cancer drugs in single or combined treatment. We believe that hydrogel microwell could be very, very useful in 3D and in vitro techniques, investigated drugs, and can be used also for others. These are the big picture, and we would like to turn into the device that is almost like cell phone style, then eventually get the biopsy and then test the chemotherapy drugs, and then inform the doctors about which kind of drugs is better for that specific patients. So PEGDA system, as you can see, it's the microwell systems. and we initially seed the either cell lines or biopsy samples taken from freshly resected the cells from the patients, and then grow them, and also adding the microenvironment and perfectly mimicking the in vivo the structures, and then build the spheroids. This is the little bit explanation about the hydrogel and the PEGDA systems, and we are using the photolithography technologies, and the PEGDA is put in the middle. We have the mask in the computer, and then we can create several 9, 18, up to 1,000 also microvalves in the system. So if you look at the bottom part, these are the microvalves. It's almost like the holes. Depends on the mask. When the light comes, light will not penetrate those masked areas. Other areas could be because of the light will be the more liquid. When you wash them, it will create a incredible structures. Consist of several microvalves. The shape could be circular, could be rectangular. It's up to application, but here we are using the circular one. If you look at the microvalve characterization, this is the confocal images right-hand side, and it shows this is very small actually. They're almost 200 micrometers, and the site is 200 micrometers. And as you can see, that is confocal, the images right-hand side. So the spheroid formation from day 1 to day 14, in this case, these are not the freshly resected the patient cells. These are from the cell lines. Day 1, even naked eyes, if you could see, you can count the number of the cells. Day 4, they started conforming the spheroid shape, and day 14, within 2 weeks, we will have the spheroid. It's almost like inside the body, and we can mimic in vitro. We can look at them also, the side images. As you can see, it's the spheroids is not touching to the wall. We made some I'll call engineering innovations. I think sits there. That way it doesn't really change the conformation stage. I think it's very unique in that way. Widely used two drugs we use is the pitavastatin, irinotecan. Those the experts, pitavastatin is not a chemotherapy drug, but also helps the effectiveness of irinotecan, and that's why it has been jointly used in clinics. And also we focus on the genomic structures. I will skip that part. So, okay. If you look at the upper panel, is the 2D cell cultures, not 3D, not platform. And if you can see the control and the 1 micromole, 10 micromole, 50 micromole, 100 micromole irinotecan, you can see that how it's affecting them. When we go to 3D cultures, this is the y-axis is day 0, day 1, day 7, after forming spheroids. Please note, okay? Then it's a control, and also different dose has been given in the columns. That is the control 10, 200 micromole. So the 7 days, if we apply 200 micromoles, as you can see, is the spheroid is completely destroyed. Left the column is the control. As you can see, we are not giving any drug, and the spheroids will continue growing. It makes a full spheroids. But for those with 200 is the most effective one, but it's always when you use so much dose, is the side effect could be a concern for clinician. So the summary is for the irinotecan, as you can see, day 7, 200 micromole, and the cell viability is almost 10%. Okay, so it's killing almost 90% of those, and controlled no problem. And it's the second one when we use the pitavastatin alone. Again, is drug treatment day 0, day 1, day 4, day 7, and we have the left column is the control. As you can see, that is the full grown. When we apply the pitavastatin, again, most effective was the 200 micrometer. This is the summary. Again, starting from day 1, day 7 is the, if we use 200 micromole pitavastatin, and the cell viability is around the 10%, but again, 200 micrometer is big. We decided to use the jointly and with different combination, starting with the pita is the 1 micromole and irinotecan is 50 micromole. Then second, pita is 5 micromole, irinotecan 50 micromole. And then pita is different combination, okay? When we look at them, which combination are much more effective in vitro treatment of the spheroids? Oops. If you look at them, is the again is the we are looking for the combination is the best combination was the effective one is the pita 5 iron 100 or will be much more the pita 5 to 50 or pita 10 to 50. So note that is we are not using 200 micromole for pita, not for irinotecan, just using even pita 10 micromole, irone 50 micromole. Jointly, we get the cell viability is almost 10%. So this combination use, it of course varies from patient to patient. Pita 10, irone 50 could be good for patient A, but if we have a different samples, maybe 5 to 50 will be different. So this way, we can advise the surgeons and also the oncologists that for the chemotherapy treatment could be very useful. One of the drawbacks of this, if you look at that, is I just want to go back. How on the earth that we will get this so many different combinations? And I think it will take a long time for students, graduate students, undergraduate students working on, and it could be a challenge. How we can overcome this, and we think about the building a new and novel, I believe, cancer chip. So the ideas behind is we manually should not decide what percent with combinations. We should build a system. Let the system design. Let the novel platform design which percent of the drugs will go to the which microvals. Okay. What I mean is this is the again instead of having microvals is open, this time we are closing. When you look at the top views, is the microvalves are in, but they are not coming any liquids or the media from up or bottom, but they are connected horizontally each other. I think this may not be the good one, but I will go to the, okay. So ideas behind, is it possible to have, please, if you focus on the B, can we give drug A from left-hand side, drug B blue right-hand side? Is it possible to connect and have multiple microvalves and the left-hand side will be 100% red, 0% blue, right-hand side 100% blue, 0% red, but in between different combination, the mathematical model has been developed to determine which microvalves they has the concentration of drug A and drug B for each microvalves. That's a very unique. That's the really this is the Dr. Nguyen, Dr. Fan, Dr. Shia. They have worked on this, and the special they deserve the acknowledgement on this. The size is very small. We have also the outlet. Our goal in a long term to have instead of only 2 drugs, we would like to have the 4 drugs eventually. Technology, again, we are using UV irradiations to build it. Okay. So if you look at this, it's going to work. We are running the liquids through the channels. Microchannel size is the 500 micrometer. As you can see that it's moving. Okay. So this is the, again, I was trying to explain that is our hypothesis is to give the two drugs and the drug A and drug B. And as you can see, right-hand side, only drug B, only drug A, and in between concentration changes 80-20, 60-40, 50-50, 40-60, 20-80. I think this is at least uh, to look at the whole picture at the same time. Okay, and it's initial testing to giving the dyes, and it was perfectly working. And also it's unique that is because of the hydrogen structures. If any drug is moving outside because of the osmolality and the gradients difference, and it's eventually with the time it starts coming because concentration high inside goes out and comes back. So we are not losing the drugs. So the cell capture design, I think the movie is not working. We can have a different type, the microvalves here, and we don't need to have only the circular one. I think movie is not working. Maybe. And I was about to show you that how these cells has been trapped inside. But see them, it's the growing, and this is the different days. And when we look at this should be, I believe that is the 21 days. And it's the bright field image, as you can see how inside the microvalves, the spheroids has been built, okay? We can pick up any area, anything that we can. For example, this one is isolated. We are looking for day 0, day 1, day 7, how the spheroids start growing, okay? And when we sell the seedings, of course, more seeds you put and the faster macro spheroids will build. We do not have that luxury with the human cells, but cell lines, we are able to do this. Same drugs we use as before, both pitavastatin, irinotecan, and we look at then which one indeed is reducing. If you look at the day 1, all this average of the column wise, first one, second, not the third, fourth, and we call them A, B, C, D, average. Okay, in 7 days, if you can see this, this is the color. I think it's the plum color. 7 days was, we noticed that is for this specific cell lines was the great combination. Okay, and the drug injected and 7 days, and we look at them after the growth. So at 7 days after this, the 15 days means that 7 days of the drug. Okay, the culture media has been changed, and we look at this injection, drug injection, and how it's really destabilizing, defragmenting the spheroids. Okay, I forgot to tell you something. This one is the day 7, the plum color was 10 to 50 micromole. The one that we use, the 2 different combination manually, new platform, new cancer brain chip was able to show the same result. The only difference, the previous one, we have to do it manually. It takes more time, more energy. This one does it itself, and we concluded that it's our cancer chip is indeed the high throughput GBM cancer spheroids formation is capable to build it, and also we can use currently 2 drugs. Eventually, we are going to expand the system to more drug testing, and chip is very useful as a drug screening, and also I believe that this could be used for other engineering applications. I don't know the time, but we can continue also I may talk about the couple more minutes also the different platform for angiogenesis using 3D. This time, we built the new system. It's not the PEGDA base, it's the JELMA base. We were looking for the effectiveness of the angiogenesis drugs. Okay, so this the JELMA is slightly different than PEGDA, but this time instead of making microvalves below the level, this time is almost like you have on the table you have the glasses. So this way is we are able to put the spheroid inside and the endothelial cells the outside, and then we can look at the endothelial cells with him. That's what I'm talking about, the blood vessel as well, to mimic that is the during the cancer the growth and which one approaches other one, how we can cut the blood supply nutrition coming from the blood vessels. System is this is the confocal images, the below, and the again is the Hüvek cells put endothelial cells, Hüvek cells put outside the environment. It's growing, as you can see. And when the angiogenesis formation, day 1, we are seeding the cells inside, and the day 4, day 7, as you can see, endothelial cell, Hüvek cells, the one is passing through the porous part of the JELMA and trying to reach out to UAD7. And when we use this is the day 1, day 4, and we can see the capillaries. I think it was very unique that when we use the angiogenesis drugs, actually, if we don't use it and the Hüvek cells is moving in and in, day 7, after the drug use, and we were able to see that is the formation of the move has been the completely cleared. I'm going to check that if I have, yeah. This is the angiogenesis inhibitor drug, TNP 470. This is a very old one. And when we put this one, okay, as you can see, no drugs, red one, Hüvek cells moving to GBM. When we use the drugs, as you can see, it cuts the connection, it cuts the nutrition to GBM. Okay, it was so powerful, so useful. I think this could be the good for also testing the effectiveness angiogenesis drugs. Okay, let me stop here. And this still is our research is the active, and we will continue, and hopefully in near future we will have more time to share more new results. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And any questions about the IEEE EMBS, our technical activities, our summer school conferences, or about the healthcare innovation, and also our research, I'm willing to answer. Okay. Let me stop sharing that way. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. So I am very happy that we are including industry inside of EMB as well. This is very important since most of the students end up in the industry. So that is very good. So inside of Puerto Rico and Caribbean section, most of the in biomedical engineers go to industry. So what would you suggest to us on how to sell this organization and this society for them?
Okay.
I know that some of the companies are watching us now since I invited them as well.
Wonderful. I think first of all is we need to really change our education system at the university level. We need to focus on more innovation part and more entrepreneurship part. Because when we were getting educated, I'm talking about long time ago, I don't want to tell when, and we want to be exceptional engineers, right? We learn mathematics, physics, everything, fantastic idea. That time was wonderful, and we did our best to communicate. But things changed, okay? We need to also think about how we can turn our PhD thesis, our honors thesis, our undergraduate work into the product, into the push into the clinical practice. So they turn something into the unique platform that it could be really used by the others, can have an impact on the lives of the others. So we need to offer courses on entrepreneurship. We need to talk about the design, bio-design part, more innovation part. Those courses should be participant. We should get the lecturer from industry. So we need to really prepare the next generation workforce with the mindset translational research matters, innovation matters, entrepreneurship matters. Still, you need to be fantastic engineers, no question about it. But at the same time, we need to look at the different avenue. The suggestion I have, it's the strongly advise to students, that is, do not really narrow the focus on one thing. If you look at the most successful people, they have focus on something unique, but also they also focus something else. Okay. For example, if you are wonderful engineers and it's also build a good neuroscience skill set, not only device technology, or also think about the micro devices, but also they think about the biology and understand the mechanism better. So I think it's the biomedical engineering, therefore, is a very unique. It's really, indeed, is a highly integrative, multidisciplinary field. So when it comes to society, I did not talk with the IEEE XCOM and EdCom members, just between us. And I would like to have these forums also South Central America. I want to bring the corporate leaders, and also invite the corporate leaders from South Central America to have a unique opportunity. This is one of my most ambitious projects, and also the same thing I would like to do it in Asia Pacific area. I have identified the certain countries actually to do it, and the purpose is to really serve our members and indeed serve our students, expose them, open their eyes. I think it's nothing more rewarding than, to me, actually, personally. So that's the answer for me.
That is a great answer. And I also invite engineers from different disciplines, because I know that they can contribute in biomedical engineering as well. Electrical engineers, computer engineers, and different types of engineers, because I know that they can help develop different technologies that could help people with different types of conditions.
Actually, my background is undergraduate electrical engineering, master electrical engineering. I graduated from Bogazici University in Istanbul. It's one of the most respected, maybe one of the oldest university. It was built 1863 by the Americans, actually. I believe that it was the first American university operated by Americans outside the United States. So our university was very unique. It's almost the Ivy League university mindset, and I had the freedom to take courses from physics, also the humanities. It's because the concept is again is not to just narrow the focus. I believe that I had a fantastic background in engineering and fundamental science. My recommendation for students for the engineering, it doesn't matter you're electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, but it's important to have critical thinking about them. So it's, of course, the biomedical engineering really qualifies the many engineering field. Personal bias, I believe that is the future of the engineering is biomedical or healthcare engineering. And it's if you have electrical engineering degree and if you have a strong electrical engineering background, my recommendation, you need to take course in neuroscience if you are willing to work on rehabilitation field. Take course neuroscience if you're designing implants. And if you are going to work on cancer research, It will be wonderful to work on, to get courses on the molecular biology, cancer biology, attend the seminars. I think network. Okay. Don't just continue the one mechanical engineering seminar series. Go to the electrical engineering, go to the biomedical engineering. If there's a local medical school, go if there's a conference, if there's a workshop, if there's a speakers, just expand your horizons. Okay.
I love that.
And also positive attitude. It's you. If you're not passionate, you cannot discover anything. And
That
if
is
you,
true.
I think it's also this requires incredible dedication, but the reward at the end from the biomedical engineering is priceless.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure for me
It's my
having
pleasure.
you in
Wonderful. I
this day.
appreciate Abigail. And anytime you need any help, I'm willing to. Roberto, you're a fantastic ATCOM member, my friend, if you're listening. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye. Saludos, ahora tendremos al doctor Sánchez. Él es profesor de la Universidad de San Francisco de Quito. Trabajó como asistente de investigación para el proyecto de Smart Control of Wastewater Treatment Plants y en Research Associate para el proyecto de BID 085, Development of Power Converters. También ha dirigido varios proyectos de investigación en los campos de la agricultura, conversión y medición de energía, simulación en tiempo real y biomédica. En el 2005, él fue cofundador de I.E.E.E., que hasta el día de hoy es la empresa número 3 en el Ecuador en la producción de ascensores. El doctor Sánchez está iniciando actualmente una nueva empresa, Mosaico Technologies, centrada en el desarrollo de IP cores y diseño de sistemas electrónicos para aplicaciones médicas, agrícolas y de conversión de energía. Como voluntario de IEEE, es para mí un honor tenerlo aquí como el director de la región 9. Saludos, doctor Sánchez.
Buenos días, Abigail. Mucho gusto. Muchas gracias por esta invitación. Para mí es un gusto estar con ustedes celebrando I.E.E.E. Day en Latinoamérica y en Puerto Rico.
Muchísimas gracias. En el día de hoy usted va a estar hablando hacia un páncreas artificial y me gustaría hacer una pequeña pausa, ¿verdad? Él está representando el Industrial Electronics Society, que para Puerto Rico y Caribe tenemos actualmente una membresía gratuita. En los promotional codes que voy a colocar al final está el código que pueden utilizar, así que los invito a que formen parte de esta sociedad y nos permitan, ¿verdad?, abrir un capítulo en nuestra sección.
Excelente. Industrial Electronics Society es una de las sociedades más grandes de IEEE, con alrededor de más de 10,000 miembros. Es también una sociedad relativamente, a nivel del costo de suscripción, es relativamente cómodo, no es muy alto como otras sociedades, y los beneficios son muy interesantes. Les invito porque si abren un capítulo, la sociedad tiene varios fondos para actividades en los capítulos, así que para proyectos específicos, así que es una muy buena oportunidad, así que adelante.
Me parece muy bien. Si desea presentar, se lo coloco en la pantallita y podemos comenzar.
Ok. ¿Puedo cargar mi presentación, sí?
Sí.
Ok. No sé si se está viendo la presentación.
Aún no.
¿Aún no? Ahí.
Ahora sí.
Okay.
Muchísimas gracias.
Sí. Bueno, voy a hablar el día de hoy sobre un proyecto en particular. Voy a hacerlo en inglés por la audiencia, tal vez. So my project, that what I'm going to talk about today, is a project in which we've been working for the last 3 years. It's a project which we have been developing in collaboration with Purdue University. Purdue University we have a collaboration, a student exchange program with them, and we yearly receive the visit of around 10 to 12 students from Purdue who are in the area, in different areas. Sometimes they are in biomedical engineering, other times they are more into informatics and other disciplines. So around 2 years ago, two students from there came here, which were Amanda Angulo and Tyler Witzig. Both are mechanical engineers, actually, and they were very interested in starting to work with us in some projects. So I will tell you a bit of the history, how we got into this discipline. So on a common day in my office around 3.5, 4 years ago, I received the visit of a student who told me his story. He was actually a person who has diabetes type 1 and required continuous supply of insulin. He was a recent comer into electronic engineering, and he was actually one of his motivations for getting involved into electronic engineering was to address his condition, to look for technological ways in which he could improve his and the livelihood of other people. He was very fortunate, as he told me at that point. I didn't know about much of this, but he was very fortunate because he was able to afford the cost of the treatment, which involved continuous supply of insulin and other devices, which I was quite surprised to learn at that time. Some of these devices included, for example, a mobile pump which he carried on his waist, which supplied the insulin daily to his body. Instead of having, receiving shots every certain time, he had a continuous pump. And also he had a badge on his shoulder, which was connected wireless to this pump and was receiving data from his level of glucose in his bloodstream. So that was a very sophisticated sensor, which was very costly as well, but was very useful for having to monitor his continuous intake of glucose. So did you know that around 463 million people, or that's around 9.3% of the population, suffer from some type of diabetes? And it's expected that this number will increase to around 578 million by 2030. The treatment for diabetes mellitus is basically a continuous dosage of insulin. We'll talk a bit more about this in a few minutes, but it's a chronic disease, and that thus you require continuous treatment for the rest of your life. This is particularly harsh, well, it's difficult for many people, but it's particularly harsh when you develop this condition at early years in your life, especially in childs. Because as a child, you don't know about your condition. You don't know what is happening to your body. You don't understand how you have to treat your condition. And kids are, since they don't know, they don't understand what is happening, and they don't realize what the harm can come out from not having a treatment. So developing these type of devices for kids is also very important, because it will allow them to, don't assume, some responsibilities which you're not conscious of yet, and instead leave these responsibilities of receiving insulin, to a machine which can do it for you, of course, under monitoring and surveillance. So this is one of the motivations that also took us to this, and I will explain you later on. So there are many types of insulin. There are some now fast-acting insulins, which you can basically spray them and will work almost immediately. And there are other ones which are long-term insulins in which you just take a bit and that will be absorbed by your body during the whole day. But whatever type of insulin you're using, there is a significant cost associated with it. And depending on the country you live, there are people who can really not afford it. And that's another motivation for this, though we are not going to develop insulin, but making a proper use of it is important. So this is just a picture of how insulin is developing. And also diabetes is responsible for secondary type of diseases, which are derived from diabetes. And that's the main thing, that it's a very slow, chronic disease, which if you get it when you are young, probably you will not see its effects until later in your life, and you will have a short life expectancy. So many of the efforts are trying to have a good treatment early in your early years, so you don't have problems later on, and your life expectancy can be as long as possible. So our project has been very focused on three main. We have been trying to address three main, topics. The first one is understanding the condition. How can we understand this disease? How can we, get knowledge of it? It's a very complex disease, as you will see. And if you're not a doctor and you haven't, studied all the systemic organs and the system of the human body, it's quite difficult. You have to learn a completely new field, and probably will not completely learn it, but at least we're trying to understand it. So that's what the first part of what we've been doing. Then, as part of it, this understanding, we came up with some ideas. And at this point, it's very important to begin working with the patients, with the people who have the condition, so you can actually understand what they need. And also work with the physician, with the doctors who are treating these, so you can actually know what do they think will be something which can help them to treat the patients, and also help them understand more about the condition of the patient. So with the next two topics we've been working also is on developing devices for the patient and also developing tools for the physician. So about the understanding the condition, as I just said, the insulin intake and how this insulin has a relation with the glucose is a very complex metabolic mechanism, and it involves several human organs and processes. When we talk about mathematical models about this, they talk about compartments, and they try to divide the metabolism in different stages. So several scientists, physicians, engineers, and others have been developing basically mathematical models which can describe the metabolic behavior of the glucose insulins in our body. This is an ongoing field, and you constantly get new models depending on the new understandings of the metabolic relations you get and what type of problems you want to address. Because as I just said, even though diabetes, the main effect, let's call it like the most common effect is the glucose. But there are long-term effects, and there are other type of effects which they're still under study, and they might not have an immediate effect, but they will eventually raise up. So our work has been focused on trying to understand what is in the open literature nowadays. And you can find in the open literature several models, for example, Hoborka model, Bergman model, Gaetano Narino, Covelli, etc. There are several other ones. In particular, there's one model which is called the Covelli model, which has received considerable attention, and it's based off a model of a simulator, which is called the UVA Padova. And this is a model, this is a simulator which has been approved by the FDA, as to provide some, insight into possible, treatments or further studies. It hasn't, as far as my knowledge goes, it hasn't been used as a means for treatment or for treatment, real-time treatment of patients, but that's something we will be looking at, and that's something many researchers are looking at. So our work, some of our students have been studying some of these models in detail and have tried to evaluate, develop some means of understanding with two main objectives. The first one is assist the physician, as I just said before, and the other one is assist the patient. And by this I mean developing in a more technical way by developing closed loop control systems implemented in embedded systems. So recently, some of our students which worked on this developed some simulators on MATLAB, and I would like to just show you a brief video about this. I'm not sure if I can actually stream this. Let me see. So, okay. I'm not sure. Okay, stop sharing, and I have to share something else. Just be patient, please. Okay. Okay, it's loading. Hopefully you see it. Okay, there you go. So this model basically simulates three models, which I think it's the Hovorka, the Bergman, and Valley, and it allows to compare different situations, different conditions on patients. Oh, okay. Seems it's not projecting. Okay, I'll try once more. Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood the message. Okay, so you can see here it allows to simulate different models, three models, and compare the results of these models between them. This will allow the patient, well, more the physician actually, to understand what's happening. We can upload data, patient data, and which can be sampled on several days or months to see how he has been he or she has been reacting to the different treatments. But it also allows the patient to have a more to input its own condition and its own food intake, for example, and compare how he can react to different types of treatment by himself. The thing of what we've learned on diabetes is that even though many patients have the assistance of doctors, especially when we're talking about childs, the main doctor is their parents. So their parents have to understand a lot of what's going on with their child, and it's you have to imagine the situation, the condition of these parents who have to learn that their kids have these, and they have to learn how to treat them. And I've heard several times from parents saying that they know more than the doctor when it comes to the treatment of their of their own child, because they probably just visit their doctor once every month, or not very frequently, but on a day basis they are their doctor, they are their physician. So this is the idea of this system. So I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment, and I'm going to go to continue with the presentation. So okay, I'm not sure if, okay, can you see? Okay, I hope the presentation is on now again. Okay, so we've been doing that, and from there we also moved into developing devices for some people. A colleague of mine, a good friend of mine from school, he approached me in 2019, just before the pandemic, and he told me that his child, which was at that time around 7 years old, had developed diabetes mellitus. And he told me what he had been going through, and that his child has now to get common, insulin all the time. He had to monitor her intake of food, and how he was coping with it, and that. But that's when we learned that kids have to stop being kids at that point, because they have to get a responsibility on their health at that point. So he told me about this pump, which was developed by a pharmaceutical company. And even though he was able to afford it, he knew that several kids he knew, which had the same condition as his, were not able to afford it. It was around $15,000, and was very difficult. And also, the cost of the insulin was quite significant. So we began to develop some engineering into how to develop a similar product to that one, which could assist these people who were not able to afford this pump. So this is how, well, if you cannot buy the pump, then you have to go through shots, insulin shots. Whereas this pump will just go in your waist and provide the insulin on a continuous way, depending on your conditions. So we developed some architecture, how this very simple thing, pump, can be developed in a very low cost way. And we try to use as simple products which can be off the shelf, and which could be purchased, and so we can reduce the cost of the system. And we actually came out that the main limitant here was the pump, the actuator itself. We needed pumps which were able to supply very low doses of insulin, very small quantities of insulin, and that pump was really the limiting factor on the cost of the system. And a pump which can comply with this would cost around $3,000, even though its significance 5 times less than a commercial pump. It's still high, at least for low income families. So this is more or less how an insulin profile looks like, depending on the hour of the day. Basically, this is what we call the bolus dosing. So you get a minimum amount of insulin on a continuous basis, and then depending on your intake of food, then you have to supply some additional insulins to cope for these additional carbohydrates which you're having. So So we need also to provide some, that this system was supposed to be able to provide some information on the carbs intake. So we also developed a mobile platform, a mobile app, which could be, loaded into the kid's phone and also into the parent's phone. So basically, this system has actually a continuous communication with the parents. So the parents can monitor the supply of insulin, what the kid is eating, and also measure remotely the glucose of the kid. So this was the interface that either the parents or the kids can have on the mobile device at that point. The pump also had a small interface in case there was a misconnection with the mobile device, and this will provide also information on the go. So we did test the pump. We didn't test the pump with people. As you know, testing things with people is a very difficult endeavor. You have to get permissions from local authorities, from ethics committees, and with the pandemic over us, was quite difficult. So we actually just tested the device on a simulator, and these are just some of the results we got at that point. And as you can see, the percentage of error is quite, it's less than 1%. 1% is not, we shouldn't say it's less, it's a good error, but we haven't been able to analyze this data yet with physicians, but we'll try to do it at a certain point. So those were the outcomes that come with the developed system. And as I said, materials and components for the device were easily found and relatively low cost. As I said, the most important, the most heavily part was the pump itself. And the idea was that this device could compete in the market with these other very expensive devices. We think we have achieved that, but as I just said, we haven't gone through clinical trials, so that is something we don't have yet. So we developed this with the people from Purdue, with our students coming from Purdue, and their work was basically getting the fundamental knowledge of these glucose-insulin relations. Now, where to go from here? Well, there's very lot, there are many unanswered questions at this point, and technological challenges. For example, there are new types of insulins, which are fast absorption insulins, and there are still no mathematical models for this. How this will, how can we understand these effects on the body? Also, we require new ways of measuring insulin. Our current ways of measuring insulin have a very significant lag. It takes about 15 minutes to get a reading, and the time constant of the insulin, of the glucose, is around 15 minutes. So you basically have around 30 minutes lag, which is quite significant for any control system you want to develop. We've been thinking about developing new embedded virtual patients. This could be a means of fine-tuning online monitoring systems, and this is an approach we are developing now, making use of basically machine learning and artificial intelligence methodologies. So this is what I wanted to share you today. Just some of the work we've been developing in our local chapter of the Industrial Electronics Society in our university. It's actually two chapters who've been working on this. It's the Industrial Electronics chapter and the Engineering and Medicine Biology chapter. So we work together in this. At this point, Abigail, I don't know if there should be any questions.
So there are no questions for now on the chat, but I'm very happy to hear about this topic in particular, because I think it's very important. In Latin America, and we have a lot of people that takes insulin. So I think this is a very inside, topic for Latin America. So I think that will be it for today. I don't see any questions over here for now. But thanks for your time, and thank you for speaking in English as well, because this will include our Caribbean as well. So I'm very glad to have you today in this celebration and our first day.
Congratulations to you and to the Puerto Rico section for organizing such a magnificent event.
Thank you. So I would like to invite you today. We saw that we have Move, that we are implementing it in Puerto Rico. So we want to invite you to be volunteer of Move. We want to invite you as well to be part of EMB. No matter what kind of engineer you are, you can actually contribute in this in different technical activities for biomedical engineering. We also invite you to be in the Industrial Electronics Society. And this topic is completely, the society is completely free for all the Puerto Rico and Caribbean section members. So help us opening EMB and IEEE as well in Puerto Rico. So now we are going to have a message from our president, Christian Figueroa.
Thank you, Abigail. Good morning to everyone. Thank you to each one of you for being with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time, as well as those that haven't been with us or are new to the IEEE. Today we celebrate the 137 years from this first meeting that engineers from worldwide and the IEEE member gather to share their technical ideas. And this is how we in the IEEE Puerto Rico and Caribbean section want to celebrate this meeting. First, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all my team that have worked together toward the vision proposed for this year's celebration. Thank you. We could not have done it without you. Today has been our opening. In the next Saturdays, we will continue the celebration. This event has been developed thinking in our mutual passion for advancing technology in benefits of humanity. Your passion helps us to unite, and the energy we create is what allows us to achieve our individual as well as group goals. We need you as much as you need us, and that's why we are grateful to have you attending to our first IEEE Day celebration. I don't want to take too much time. I would want to leave Abigail to the closing section of this event. So a very warm welcome and to each one of you that if you have any questions, suggestion, clarification, or just want to say hi, I will be reachable to the LinkedIn live chat during the closing of the event. So thank you very much for listening. Abigail, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. I will include the promotional codes right now. As you know that we have different types of discounts on the different memberships. So here we go. So my name is Abigail Terron, and thank you for being part of our IEEE Day celebration. We invite you for our next days, all the Saturdays of September.